Huh?
Warhammer 40k Spacehulk Deathwing is an interesting entry to the Warhammer video game universe. Releasing in 2016, with the Enhanced Edition coming out in 2018, the version I will be playing, it was another edition in an honestly pretty shit year for the brand. Does that mean Deathwing is shit though? It's complicated? Deathwing is a first-person horde shooter with tactical elements based off of the 40k board game of the same name. This one, I would really like to play it sometime. The game was developed by Strumon Studio, the same mushroom-smoking madman that made I Divine Cybermancy, the game that I am extremely intimidated to play because it exists on a completely different mortal coil as most human minds. Wait, what was I talking about again? Oh right, the Warhammer game. Now, if you guys couldn't tell, I am a Warhammer fan, like a pretty big one. Being as big as a fan as I am, whenever I hear first-person Warhammer shooter, I immediately jump on board. Warhammer doesn't have nearly enough first-person games that are good, so I wanted to experience it as soon as possible. I mean, seriously, we're Fire Warrior, bro. We needed this. Well, without any more things I can autistically side rant about, let's actually dive in and take a look at Warhammer 40k Spacehulk Deathwing. First things first. What's the story of Deathwing? Well, I'm very glad you asked, viewer. I hope is watching and isn't just you again. Chris. Yeah, I know. Fucking slacker. You play as this guy, a librarian of the Dark Angels chapter named, librarian? Sure, that works. Under the command of the Grand Master Belial, you have been deployed to the Spacehulk dubbed the Olethros to, find stuff? Okay, makes sense, I guess. But it would turn out that you are not alone. The Spacehulk is infested with filthy gene stealers, evolved Tyranid bioforms who really, really enjoy stealing genes. It is now your mission to battle through the Xenos horde to, Okay, I'm gonna drop the act. The campaign is actually ass. Straight dog. Hot dookie. If you had a Stormbolter held to my head and told me to recite the events of this game, I would just tell you to send me to the Emperor, because I haven't the slightest clue, man. With how disconnected all the maps feel, the story very much feels attached last minute. I wonder who wrote it anyway. Let's see. Huh? Let's start off for real this time. What is the gameplay like? It is honestly super simple. You and your team are dropped into the map, given your objective, and you must navigate your own way around the map to complete these objectives. These could be as simple as go here and kill a high priority target, or go here and place an Auspex device. In between point A to point B, you will be under attack, and must use any and all tactics you can to make sure you aren't sent to the Emperor in a 12-foot double-fridge girth-wide metal coffin that is Terminator armor. Complete your mission and you are paid money to buy weapon mods, character upgrades, and skins for everything so you can look much prettier next time round. Now, as simple as this may sound, it doesn't come without its faults. Speaking for single player specifically, unless your friends are also dumb, you are accompanied by two Terminators, Apothecary Nahum and Devastator Barrakiel. These guys are unbelievably fucking stupid. They could both quite literally be on the brink of death and won't heal themselves without your say-so. Whenever an enemy spawns in, their ADHD kicks in, and suddenly it is their sole objective to murder it even if you are already currently falling back. Even when it is a basic thing of getting them to stand on the right side of a door when you're trying to lock it, they just stand there with their fucking dick in their hand while you close the door on them. Take some initiative, dumbass. Would you kindly grow a brain and use it? I suppose this actually gives me a pretty good segue to talk about the more tactical elements of the game. The maps of Deathwing are both your ally and your greatest enemy, but thankfully you are given some tools to assist. Scattered across the ships comprising the Spacehulk are onboard defensive turrets, and these little bastards hurt. However, if you open up your tactical map and use a quick scan, you are given a few options. Granted that you're within scan range, you can either activate or deactivate a turret. Keep in mind it will blast you if it's on. You may hack into it and use it to pick off enemies without having to throw yourself in harm's way. Or the only option that I find to be worth it, destroy. The turret blows up and you can move on. Don't think the map is just out to get you though. They also have your back with the greatest invention ever designed in the 41st millennium. Doors. Scattered all over the place, you will find doors. Big doors, small doors, locked doors, standard garden variety doors. How riveting! I joke, but these doors are so unbelievably useful. Your whole squad might be low on health and in need of a secure area to escape and recover. Well, you are able to lock down doors which, no matter the gene stealer, cannot be breached. Seriously, you have a genetically superior psychic controlling super predator put in his place by a 3-inch wide slab of metal that you locked. Doors are genuinely so perfect and hilarious at the exact same time. Now, I hear you asking, what do I do if I find a door that can't be hacked open? What if it's stuck? You know what, good point. What would you do in this situation? I'm actually not quite sure. Oh, well, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that's right. If a door is causing you problems, you can quite literally just bash it down. While yes, this does remove the option of security and closing off pathways for the enemy, it is very cathartic to just bash down a door whenever it's causing you problems. Again, just showing off how jank this game is while also being incredible. The Gene Stealers can't do this. Only you. You hold the fate of doors in your hands. The last and pretty much least tactical element granted to the player is the tactical wheel. Pretty much useless in multiplayer, but a massive help in single player due to these dumbasses. The tactical menu allows you to issue commands to your bots. Go here, hold this position, follow me, heal this guy or that guy. And if you want, you can place a banner, which I guess is kinda cool. Doesn't do anything, but it's there. If I could provide some constructive criticism, because as we all know I'm very good at that, and it's totally like the developers are still updating, I wish the tactical commands were more useful, like ordering an AI to focus on the player or setting the heavy to follow behind so he can cover enemies behind you. You know, stuff like that. Now, finally getting past all the mid parts of Deathwing, let's talk about the lit shit. The weapons and classes. Starting with ranged weapons, you have quite a few choices to pick from, but in Deathwing, however, you're not a stock standard Firstborn or Primaris. You, instead, are a Terminator. Terminators are fucking massive. They are powerful, but they are clunky, so their arsenal is comprised of powerful, massive, and clunky weapons. Starting with the basics, you have the Stormbolter and Stormbolter Mark II. Even though, according to the lore, the Mark II is actually the first designed version of the Stormbolter, but whatever. The Stormbolters are both just okay. They're fast firing with good magazine sizes, but I don't think the damage they do is good enough. This could also be an issue of the enemies not showing any effect to getting shot at all, but still. If you mod these two out, they do become a bit better, but majorly, they're just not the best. They both work much, much better in a squad. Using them solo with the bots just really ain't worth it. The Redemption. A Stormbolter configured into a Scatterbolter, firing ricocheting pellets that ragdoll the fuck out of Tyranids. It is by no means a bad weapon, but it is definitely an acquired taste. It sports really good damage at close quarters combat and can easily clear out a hallway. A weakness of this weapon would be that it is still a shotgun. It's the problem with horde shooters where I'd rather an automatic weapon instead of a semi-auto. Still hilarious to watch the ragdolls though. Plasma Cannon. This weapon is practically mandatory in the campaign, as it is the living embodiment of, see that thing over there? Not anymore. It is crazy powerful, one-shotting and jibbing Tyranids in a single direct impact. Even the stronger forms like Hive Tyrants and Broodlords struggle to even stand a chance against the deletion stick. It just shoots so unbelievably fucking slow. It's like a 5-second cooldown between shots. And if you miss, well, screw you. I guess you better hope your apothecary knows what he's doing. On the complete opposite side of the spectrum, we have the Assault Cannon. The Assault Cannon is like having an A10 Warthog strapped to your arm. Very original joke, I know. This thing has berserk fire rate, like crazily fast, and just shreds dudes at medium to close range, and has the magazine to support an extended period of full auto fire. Modding this thing out only helps make it the best weapon in the game, making the recoil and sway far more manageable, helping the spread actually hit things you're aiming at, and add some scopes for scoping. Great weapon, looks great too, my personal favourite. In an interesting move, we have a side grade next, with the Vengeance Assault Cannon. The Vengeance is another assault cannon, but with a few differences. The magazine is much smaller, going from 400 to 60 rounds per box. The firing rate is slower, making it feel more like a heavy machine gun than a whole-ass Gatling gun. But as a trade for these negatives, the Vengeance hits like an absolute truck, feeling really, really good to use, being yet another really strong choice for the classes that have access to it. Spear of the Caliban. Spear of Caliban? Not Spear of the Caliban? Well, fuck me. Another side grade, this time to the Plasma Cannon, we have the Spear of Caliban. A fully automatic plasma cannon that is okay. It's okay, I guess. It shoots fast, it hits pretty well, it's just something I don't really use enough because it isn't as one-shot powerful as the regular plasma cannon. I mean, don't get me wrong, the weapon is hella dripped out, like, he got that shit on. Hellfire. The Hellfire is a must. No, like, literally, it's a must. Being one of the only good weapons your team's apothecary can use. We will get to him in a bit. The Hellfire shoots a single, high-impact penetrating round that, upon said impact, releases holy fuel and ignites into a burst of fire, damaging targets around the initial impact, thus the name. The Hellfire is an extremely unique weapon that takes a little while to get used to, but is more than capable of carrying itself, no matter the challenge. And last for the range weapons, we must get the Flamer. The Heavy Flamer. The meme weapon, the pool noodle, the screen brightener, the player blinder, the Flamer but heavy. All names this weapon has most certainly earned. With 2 barrels you can spew fire much further and faster and easily melt all the hordes of Xenos coming right at you. And I do mean melt. Something to do to make this weapon even stronger is run a full squad wielding them and spray fire in any and all directions. Just destroy the enemy and your frames at the exact same time. Accompanying your ranged weapons, in your other hand, you may bring a melee weapon. Unfortunately, there isn't really much I can talk about with them. Well, yes, it does say that they have different stats, they do quite literally the same thing. Kill the Xenos on lower difficulties instantly, or struggle to kill them on higher difficulties. Hooray! These weapons are the Force Sword, Power Fist, Thunder Hammer, Mace of Absolution, Purgatory Sword, and the Crozius Arcanum. But before you skip ahead in case you're worried I'm gonna, yap, I do want to talk about some special case melee weapons. These are weapons that are a little more interesting and more noteworthy than the others. Starting with the Force Axe. The Force Axe is a Librarian-exclusive weapon that has the unique ability of reducing the Librarian's ability cooldown, allowing you to cast spells practically instantly, becoming a mandatory weapon for more psychic-focused Librarian players. After that, we have the Lightning Claws. These things are actually so fucking useless, and I am not being my cynical self right now. I really mean it, these things fucking suck. They can barely block, they're slow as shit, they don't do the damage that these monsters should be doing, according to the lore. I mean, I'm pretty sure these fucking things can cut through Ceramite, yet the ones in-game can barely cut deep enough into the Gene Stealers. You know, the aliens who are practically all made up of fingernail. Useless melee, just use something else. And lastly, we have the Narthesium. Those of you in the lore already know what I'm going to say, but for those who don't, despite looking like it, it isn't a weapon. It's a medical tool. And in Deathwing, it is the only melee your apothecary can use. Well, only melee your apothecary should use, as once it's equipped, it majorly reduces the apothecary's ability cooldown, making them drastically shorter, and not, nearly 2 minutes long, like the ones that you are handed instead. Now we get into the really fun part. The classes that can use these weapons. We have 6 classes to choose from, and all of them, maybe not all, are excellent choices for you and your team. Let's get into them now, starting with the weakest of the group, the Assault Specialty. The melee-focused class, and also the weakest weapon and ability-wise. Having the ability to increase melee speed for himself for a few seconds, deep strike teleport into a singular enemy, one-shotting them, and the ability to generate a force field. I honestly don't get why this class was even added, but I suppose it's cool they're here? Heavy Weapon Specialty. My personal favourite class of them all, the heavy of the team. Sporting all of the largest and most powerful guns of any of the classes, he is by far the easiest to play, sporting Firestorm, increasing his weapon's fire rate for a few seconds, a landmine that sports a huge blast radius, and the Crusader's ability, which removes all recoil and screen shake for a few seconds, making your weapon extremely accurate. We have the Librarian next. The Librarian is the class that all players will have a pretty good understanding of, being the same class you use in the main campaign. The Librarian, multiplayer-wise, has the abilities to cast Psychic Lightning, send out a shockwave to push back any enemies that have closed the distance between you and your team, and a Psychic Firebomb that will immolate the target Tyranid, either killing them instantly or dealing extremely high damage. Apothecary. The infamous Apothecary, the medic of the team, and an essential part of any good Deathwing squad. Sporting his Narthesium, his abilities are to heal a single member of the squad, extremely useful in the heat of battle, to heal himself so that he can make sure his brothers live longer, and when the first two fail and the whole team needs help, he can create a large healing aura that can heal every member of the team, including him. Useful, important, S tier. Tactical Specialty. Tactical Specialty is a class that is there. Now, this isn't a bad class by no means. It is, just nothing special. With their reinforcement ability, they can revive a dead player, which I'm sure you must be asking, how is that just a nothing special ability? To which I respond, just you wait. They can project a force field around another player, and their final ability is to summon a servo skull that will fight alongside you. Like I said, all okay, nothing super duper interesting. On to the next class. For our next class, for the final class, for the best specialist class, we have something very, very special. The Chaplain. The fucking king of this game. The best of the best. The Emperor's Chosen. A fucking icon, spawning countless in-jokes with my friends. There is not nearly enough praise that can be sung about this guy. So let's take a look at his abilities. Calls to Arm allows him to revive 3 dead teammates, far superior than the Tactical Specialty. Litany of War makes you and your teammates take no damage for a short time. And Retribution throws enemy attacks back at them. So 2 of his abilities makes him immortal, and 1 brings back everyone. Chaplain Supremacy is real. Now, all that is well and good. I really enjoy talking about the positives in the games I enjoy. You know, they make me feel really happy, and I feel being happy makes better content. But fuck that, let's yell at some polygons. These fucking hybrids can also be psychic, and they are so unbelievably fucking annoying. These motherfuckers are always just out of range, always teleporting around, and whenever they attack you, they deal so much fucking damage, you will, and I mean you will, go down in one shot. As if the game wasn't difficult enough as is. Let's just throw some random bullshit at the player and hope they don't die. Did bad RNG. Have fun, have a good time, good luck! And that is all Deathwing has to offer. I am super happy to get this video out. I've been wanting to talk about something Warhammer related, and since I've been playing this again, I figured this was a good first topic. I do plan to make some more Warhammer related stuff in future, because I mean it when I say I adore 40k, salamanders are where it's at. Now, onto some boring tech stuff. The Patreon is open. Now, for $5 a month, Patreon wouldn't let me make it $1. If I can change it, then please let me know. You can get behind the scenes access to some script reveals, editing live streams, and some general community live streams too. Please don't feel that you have to pledge. This is just a little something to help me out while I get started making stuff on YouTube. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you. Cue the frog.